about this? You're forced to leave your home forever, and you can only take what you can carry with you. What would you choose? Have a few seconds to think about it. Well, I'm betting that most of you would have said family photo albums or precious jewellery. Well, in 1978, a Vietnamese woman called Cook Lam was faced with that choice, and she did just that. But she was prepared to give up one of those precious pieces of jewellery to buy a cheap suitcase. So why is that simple piece of luggage now a national treasure? The suitcase is here at the Immigration Museum in Melbourne. This is Cook Lam's tiny red vinyl suitcase, and it holds quite a story. The museum's allowed me to pick it up out of its display case here, and I want to show you a few things. As you can see, it's a fairly nondescript vinyl travel suitcase, but it's got markings all over it because Cook didn't want to lose it on her voyage to Australia. And here's the original flight tag, because Cook didn't arrive by boat. She was flown here courtesy of the Australian government, and it says flight QF2, date 16th of the 7th, 78, destination Melbourne, Victoria Hostel. Now these markings here indicate the boat number here. Now this is the boat she escaped from Vietnam in, and it says boat number CAT028, Camp E Pulau Tengah, now that's in Malaysia, that's the refugee camp, go to Australia. Cook was amongst a wave of boat people who fled her country in the turbulent years following the bloody Vietnam War.
My husband and I, we were escaped from Vietnam in 1978 as a refugee. And at that time, we were escaped by a riverboat. And
you were disguised as fishermen, is that right?
That's right.
What happened then?
We was on the international water for about 8 days, and then we were rescued by the Navy, Malaysian Navy. So they took us near the Pulau Tengah in Malaysia and left us there.
That's a refugee camp, is it?
This is a refugee camp.
The refugee island off the Malaysian coast in the South China. 11,000 people here, and in June there were 2,000 new arrivals. They feel sure will follow, will live in better conditions.
In your time in the refugee camp, you had a little pouch with you, which is on display here in the museum. What was in the little pouch?
Yes, that little pouch is with me all the time, and it's very precious to me. It contains my sister's watch, my mother's earring, and a photo of my parents.
There was something missing out of that little pouch, wasn't there, by the time you got to Australia? What was that?
That was my wedding ring.
Right, and why didn't you have that anymore?
When we got accepted to go to Australia, we decided to sell our wedding ring. Right. The one important thing that we want to purchase is a suitcase.
Right. Why a suitcase? Why was that so important?
Just the suitcase that is important because two of us, we have nothing to bring with us, but come to the new country, you just want to bring something with you that it's look like that you got something with you.
For many of the Vietnamese who arrived in Sydney today, it was the first time that they'd seen any of their relatives. For them, it's an entirely new start.
Like many Vietnamese refugees, Cook and Min were flown here by the Australian government. In 3 years, more than 12,000 were brought here from refugee camps in Southeast Asia. Cook and Min have repaid Australia's kindness. Min is a chiropractor, and Cook was a local councillor and is now a multicultural services officer with Centrelink. A little red bag isn't worth much, but it tells a story you can't put a price on. It symbolises the end of one life and the beginning of another here in Australia. And that's what makes it a national treasure.